Welcome back to our GMNC show. With me is the all-inspiring Tony Subramony. Tony, good morning.
Good morning, Taryn.
Lovely having you back with me.
Yes, great to be back, and good morning to the viewers as well.
Most definitely. Tony, what is our inspiration this morning?
Taryn, I want to talk about living by the checklist of life.
The checklist of life.
You know, we're so used to, as students, we've always had a checklist in terms of our study program. When we start work, we've got a checklist of what we need to do. And all of those tasks that we have, they have deadlines, and we just keep ticking the boxes.
Yes.
And that's fine. That's okay. That's cool. The reality about it is that we should not, or we should avoid becoming stuck in a checklist mentality.
Okay.
And by that, I actually mean that we should not be determining the progress we make by a checklist that we actually have to live by every day. And the sad thing about it is that we have to ask the question, whose checklist are we living by? Is it our own, or is it our parents, our teachers, our tutors, you know, that kind of stuff? Because what happens when we're living by these checklists is that it stifles us.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
We lose out on the other opportunities that's available and abundantly available in life. We just kind of condition ourselves to that checklist that we got. And we become so programmed in that to say, well, I've ticked all the boxes, so I'm good to go. But there's so much else in life that you can look forward to. You know, it also stifles the process of thinking.
Yeah.
And especially positive thinking, because you're now living a life that is determined by a checklist that is most often produced or presented to you by someone else, most often by our parents.
Yeah.
And what we need to understand is, like, you know, George Bernard Shaw said, that he said something to the effect that there's only 2% of the people that actually think. 3% think they think, and 95% of the people would rather be dead than think.
Phew, that's quite a quote, isn't it?
So 2% of the total population actually think. 3% think they think, and 95% would rather die than think. Now, those statistics are hectic,
it's quite scary.
but it also lends itself to understanding why we should not be living in this checklist mentality. You know, there's options available, there's potential, abundant potential within each individual, and we need to tap into that every day. So my message is to get away from living your life by a checklist mentality. You know, stop living a life of suffocation. Stop living a life that's stumping you to be in one point all the time and assume that you're living a life. Yeah. You're actually not living, you're just existing.
Well, that's true. Very robotic.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, so we're in autopilot. We just get up and we look at the list and we say we're ticking off there. Also, with the checklist, it's all about things that we don't want to do.
It is true.
Yeah.
You start with the worst one on the top and you filter
so what
through,
kind of mood, what kind of vibration are we creating every day?
A very negative vibe.
Yeah. So we don't put down that I'm going to watch Netflix for 2 hours on the checklist.
No, we don't.
But we'd love to do that.
Yeah.
But the reality about it is that we should allow for those experiences in life as well too. There must be a balance. So my message this morning is that use this time now to work consciously and become aware of you living in the moment, rather than just living by a checklist that determines where you're going in life. Because unfortunately, you're not going to be going anywhere if we're going to be stuck with this checklist. It's not about ticking off the boxes.
Absolutely inspirational, Tony. I mean, it's something we don't ever think about, is it? Just think a checklist, your to-do list, and when you achieve that, great, next day.
Yeah. And even if it's, you know, the chores at home, we just look, oh, I've got to do the laundry, I've got to do the dishes, and we just, once it's done, we say, oh, well, I've worked hard, and I respect the fact that it's hard work. But what quality of life is that leading to? You know, what are you actually living by? So that's my message.
Tony, always as ever, so inspirational. Thank you for your lovely message this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Always a pleasure. Guys, listen to what Tony said. Remember, don't be robotic. We'll be on autopilot. Don't let that checklist be a negative thing in your life. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you, Taryn.
We'll see you straight after the ad break.